Hello, people. One person watching. This is an old title. I think I made it in June, which was a while back, and I never went live on this topic. But I thought I would come back to YouTube. I'm mostly on X Spaces these days. I thought I would come back and see who's here and deal with this question of how to get rabbis to engage with Muslims. I am not Muslim. I've spoken to other Muslims who say they have no interest in engaging with Jews. And with another Muslim, he blocked me just for mentioning chapter 17, verse 104 of the Quran, which arguably says Allah is a Zionist. So you can imagine that opinions are polarized, and people don't really fancy coming out of their hug boxes. Added to that is the problem of rabbis having a policy of not engaging with Gentiles anyway, probably because they fear that they're going to be aggressively questioned, accused, abused, that sort of thing. But I think it is possible to have a conversation on theology when so much is supposed to depend on it. I keep saying that if you do believe in God, then theology must be crucial in determining who is right and who is wrong. Theology and logic and knowledge of the holy scriptures of Jews and Muslims. It seems so obvious to me when I think of which scripture we are to prefer. So I'm saying if the Abrahamic God did indeed reveal the Torah and the Quran, if we are from these religious groups who believe in these narratives, then surely the only question to be settled now between Jews and Muslims is which scripture is better. So why don't they have debates about which is better? But I get the impression that Muslims are not particularly interested in talking to Jews and vice versa. Is it because they don't already know the answer? But I'm sure they individually think that their holy scripture is superior to the other one. And if they're so confident, then surely they would be prepared to engage in a debate. Or is their belief only based on their subjective feeling and not supported by any balanced study of the other side's holy scripture? So obviously, if you're going to say that the Torah is better than the Quran or vice versa, you have to present arguments after having read the other side's holy scripture, after having read your own. Perhaps this is too much to expect, too much to ask even for Islamic scholars and rabbis. For those who believe in God who are neither Jews nor Muslims. You would have thought they'd have an interest in seeing such a discussion taking place, but not a bit of it. So I don't really know what to suggest. Perhaps the difficulty is just that Jews are not prepared to read the Quran and Muslims are not prepared to read the Torah. Could that be the reason? But if you're having difficulty reading difficult texts, you could perhaps take it from me that if you have two divine revelation from the same God, then it would be rational to choose the holy book that is less restrictive. And this would apply to you even if you were a Jew. Because as we all know, or ought to know, the Torah has 36 capital offenses. So either you take it literally and fear that if you're not punished in this life for any of the transgressions that incur these death penalties, you will be punished in the next. I can hardly believe that nobody even thinks in these terms. Did God rescind these punishments? Did he tell Jews not to worry about it anymore because he'd changed his mind about these punishments? I don't think it's on record anywhere that he did. He could have indicated that a later revelation supersedes the earlier revelation, and this means that the Quran supersedes the Torah. And I don't know why Jews aren't happy with this, since it would make their journey to heaven so much less hazardous. But what do I know? I'm not a trained theologian, nor am I a rabbi or a Jew or an Islamic scholar or indeed a Muslim. So I think it would be a good move if Jews and Muslims try to get it together to have a discussion on just this subject. And that's all I have to say on the subject. Thank you for your attention.